Good evening, everybody. It's a very special episode of the Focus TV tonight. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. It's number 100. So finally here, hit triple digits. Yeah. Yeah, I say it's okay.
My bad. It was like, whoo, it's
Something
100
to
already.
celebrate, right? I told you last week, same energy, buddy.
Yeah, I almost ain't come, you know. I almost was like, you know what? I don't feel good.
Same
But
energy, that's all I ask. Look, you toughed your way through it, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, folks, so we got a lot planned for you tonight. You've been following along on social media, you guys already know. But I'll refresh you if you already have, and if you haven't, NFL playoffs, Octavia.
Yeah.
High school rankings, this is week 6. Wizards segment, we attended a really, really fun game on Sunday. It didn't go the way the Wizards wanted, but we'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Capital City Go-Go, they're on a little bit of a streak. College basketball, some GW, Maryland action. But before we get to all of that, we are joined tonight by Mike Hunter, head football coach at Friendship Collegiate Academy. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Doing pretty good, man. Thanks for having me.
We're happy that you could be here with us on, Milestone show. So, since it's a Milestone show, we're going to talk about a few of yours and some of the products, the fruits of what's come from what you've been doing over at Friendship. So, you talk about foundation. You're in charge of that at the high school level before they hit college, if they're fortunate enough to go from college to the professional ranks. What is it that you feel you guys are doing over there to instill the necessary values for these young men to not only be productive members of society, but to, as you said earlier, just to be able to live their dream?
Right. So the first thing is we try to model the core values of friendship, which is, to produce productive citizens more than anything else. And then we use football and education as a tool to get that done. A lot of our young men and young women, they all grow up wanting to be athletes, professional athletes, doctors, lawyers, and things like that. So you got to listen to their dreams, make sure they're focused on what is necessary to live out those dreams, so they become reality and not just dreams.
All right, Cardell, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I'm glad I have you because one question I wanted to ask, not only a qualified coach, an accomplished coach is, when you see what we spoke about earlier, what happened at Maryland, you see that at the lower levels as far as, the damage that can be done to football players coming up. It's a two-part question. Are you for kids at the youth level playing tackle football, or do you feel that's something that should wait till high school? And with the new studies and that's coming out about the damage that could be done, well, are you happy with the changes, the precautions that are coming to make sure that the kids are safe as they come out?
Well, I think the first thing or the biggest thing we have to do is educate the adults who are in charge of the youth sports and high school sports, not just youth sports, to make sure they're teaching the game the right way. Right. And it's not just the caveman way of playing football where we just running and knocking into each other, but you're teaching people how to tackle, you're teaching people how to block properly, to get the head out of the game, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So I am for, young kids playing tackle football if it's done properly. Okay. And I think with science and technology, we've made huge advancements with equipment as well as tests to try to get early signs of, concussions or things like that. But at the end of the day, it's all about the safety of the kids. You can't put that to the side to try to win a game. Now, I do want to defend the game of football because I know that's under attack right now, but concussions happen in all sports. And if you really look at the percentages per student, football is actually not the most dangerous one. It's probably second or third. But I think we have to attack it amongst all sports and not just the game of football.
How different is it compared to when you was coming up, and do you wish the advances that are being made now in the players were available back when you were coming up?
Yeah, definitely. When I was coming up, you get your bell rung, they sit you down on the sideline, they give you a little smelling salt and send you right back in the game. So now, it's one of those things where not only are the coaches aware, but you have to have full-time athletic trainers and doctors available. But even the officials of the game are aware of what's going on and what the signs are, and they're getting trained on it. So, because they're the ones who are right on the field with the students during games. So if they see something that may look fishy, they'll send the kid out and tell them, the coach to get the trainer to check them out. And, even as a coach, my trainer has the final say so.
Okay.
So if she tells me that a kid can't play, then the kid won't play. And it's about the safety of the kid first.
Now, okay, so when you say that if she said the kid can't play, he won't play, how difficult is it for the kid to sit down? Like, do they still say, no, I'm good, coach, like, come on?
Yeah, they're going to try to, get back in the game and tell you they're good, but I got to give kudos to our athletic trainer, Miss Tina Carrillo. She's been with us for a while, and, she basically runs our athletic program.
Okay.
So when she says no, it's no. I mean, I've had parents come up to me and say, oh, no, coach, he's fine. He can. No, he's not going back in the game. And, because until she gives me the green light, he's not going.
Okay. You were a standout receiver at Gonzaga. How was it? How was the competition playing in the WCAC, and how did that prepare you, obviously, as a player in college at Catholic and now for what you're doing as a coach?
At Gonzaga, I was fortunate enough to play for Moss Collins, who's a legendary coach here in D.C., spent a number of years at Carroll before coming over to Gonzaga. So I think just the discipline that it takes to be, an outstanding student athlete is something that I gained there. And not only did I use it, when I got to college, but that's something we try to pour into our young men and women now. Okay.
And at Catholic, you played under Tom Clark, and you became an All-American at Catholic. How much do you see how much of him do you see coming out now that you walk the sidelines and where the head's at?
Well, I was fortunate not only to play for Tom Clark, but he also gave me my first coaching job out of school. Wow. And he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I never thought about being a coach. He gave me an opportunity. I'm sure I screwed it up the first year, but he just stayed on me, and because I played for him, I felt like he really wanted the best for me. So he would always pull me aside and say, hey, you got to do this better, or you're doing a good job with this. Try to do it, a little better this way or that way. And, we still keep in contact now, and, I look at him as a mentor, and he was always like a calm spirit, so you kind of knew when he gave you that look that you were in trouble. Okay. So, part of me, I do that sometimes, and I probably get that from him.
As a black coach, how much does it bother you to see the lack of opportunities for minority coaches as a whole at the college and NFL level today?
It is definitely an issue, and it's something that we have to tackle on the lower levels. A lot of people just look at the NFL head coaches or the major college football coaches, but we have to start promoting, at the lower levels, the coordinator positions, so that they can be qualified for a head coach, because that's probably the first thing that they're going to ask you when you go for an interview is, what coordinator experience do you have? But if you look at the numbers, there's not many African-American coordinators at the major college level or the NFL level, which is not preparing them to become head coaches. But I also look back at, some coaches, when they do get those opportunities, are you extending your hand back to someone and giving them another opportunity so that the numbers can grow?
That's true. As a charter school, what are the challenges of, keeping a competitive program going, despite not having the, resources, it says, the more private schools and stuff like that?
Well, resources are always going to be an issue. For us, our biggest thing is we don't have a field. So we play pretty much every game on the road. Even our home games are in someone else's stadium. Practice fields, I'm not sure if you guys seen pictures of it, but it's called Friendship Beach. It's basically all dirt and sand. We can't even paint lines on it. So, our guys are guessing if that's a 12-yard route or if I'm, stemming properly at 5 yards. But we use that to our advantage. We talk to our kids about life and how things are not going to always go your way and how to overcome adversity and things like that. So that's one reason why I think our guys are more prepared when they get to college. They've seen it all, they've done it all, and when they get to college, it's definitely going to be something new for them, but it's not going to be anything they haven't seen before.
They're not entitled, used to working. That's what it is. Right. What are some accomplishments as coach at Friendship Collegiate that you have not brought that you're aiming to bring to the program?
Friendship has never had an undefeated season.
Okay.
So that's something that I'm definitely hoping that we can accomplish, sometime in the near future. One thing we've always done is place our kids in school, whether they're going to be student athletes or just students. All of our kids are going to go to school. So we definitely want to keep that going. We talk about, we're not really worrying about championship trophies.
Right.
We're worrying about the human trophies 20 years from now when they're good fathers and good parents and good husbands and things like that. That's what we're really aiming for.
All right, Coach. We talk about it all the time, no matter the sport, sports evolve. And as they change to the top, obviously there's always some type of trickle down feel to it.
Right.
So with the way that the NFL is evolving in the college game to a degree, have you felt that trickle down on your level? And if so, on what side of the ball or in what regards?
It looks different, but when you get down to the meat and potatoes of it, you can take all the way back to the 60s, and it's football. Football is about blocking, tackling, and running. Even with the RPO stuff, the option football, all that is old school wing T. Instead of us being bunched up in the crowd, now we're spread out all over the field. But the premise of it all is back to the same thing, old school football, and it's about winning up front.
All right, you talked about winning up front. You've had a couple folks that do that very well on the defensive side of the trenches. As a coach, obviously, you have to take care of everyone on your team. When does it hit? At what point, like when you see a kid, that kid might, he has what it takes to make it. What's that process like for a coach? Like when you see it, if you could describe it.
This is gonna sound very cliche, but this is my approach to it all.
Right.
My job as a high school coach is to prepare these guys to be great student athletes on the college level. If they're fortunate enough to make it to the NFL, that's great. We're going to celebrate them. We're going to be happy for them. But we're not looking at it like, hey, we're trying to make NFL players. We've been fortunate, over the last 4 years that we've had 5 guys, get NFL contracts. Hopefully, we got 2 coming out this year that got a shot. But we're building a foundation of how to be a good student athlete, and they carry that on to the next level, and then those colleges then get them ready for the NFL.
All right, Octavia, you had anything?
Yeah, so one thing that's coming up a lot nowadays is the dynamic between coaches, players, and parents. Do you find it odd how much parents are involved? Do you have any tactics of like how you keep your parents in line if you have to keep them in line?
We actually have a very passionate parent base, and I say that in a positive way. They just want their kids to be successful, and when you take the emotion out of it, you take the feelings out of it, and you really look at what they're trying to get accomplished, they want their kids to be successful. And again, that's our goal, is for their kids to be successful. We do joke around that, when it's game time, their kids belong to me, and they can get them back after the game. But our parents understand, and they know we really care about their kids. So, we may get fussed at a little bit during the game, but after the game, it's all smiles and hugs. So it's all good.
That's good, because nowadays, how crazy it can get.
Yeah, now I've been to some games, and I'm just sitting there like, wow. Maybe I don't hear it because I'm coaching, but I hope my parents are.
Cardell, you had anything else?
One more. If it's a young prospective, kid looking at you, looking at the program, who may want to come and play for you, what would you tell them before coming? What to expect as far as the work ethic, not just on the field, in the classroom, and the type of character you're looking for you to add them to your program?
Well, the first thing we look for are players who want to be student athletes in college. If you're just interested in playing high school, meaning you're going to do the bare minimum, Friendship is probably not the program for you. Because when we started the program, or when Coach Azar Rahim started the program, I got to give him some credit. 15 years ago, and then I came on board, in the 3rd year. The majority of our staff were former college athletes. So we modeled the program after a college program. And, you know, obviously we had to water some things down because we were in high school. And we've just kind of carried that tradition on of modeling our program after what it takes to be a student athlete on the next level. So.
All right, Coach, I have one last one for you. Piggyback off Cardell. What advice or insight would you give to any young African American that's passionate about football, wants to get into coaching? What's the right way to kind of go about that? Because it's one thing to want to do something, it's another thing to figure out the right way to put yourself in the best light, the best opportunity to get after it.
Well, the first thing is to get with somebody who wants to see you be successful. A lot of people, they want to just hop on whatever the hottest and latest program is because they're winning, or they go to a program that's not very good because, oh, I can go and I can have my input. The best thing is to get there and listen and learn. You know, I go back to when Coach Clark gave me my first job at Catholic, and I joke around, but it was serious. I probably didn't say anything in the meeting for the first 8 weeks, because I didn't know anything, to be honest with you, but I was listening and trying to learn from coaches that have been there and done that before. And I think I took that experience and kind of ran with it from there. And you have to do your own research. You know, don't just wait for whoever the head coach is to tell you, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it. You have to do your own research, so when you're sitting in the big chair, you know what to do.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you so much for coming in tonight. Thank you so much for speaking with us. I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation. I know we did. We're going to take a quick break. You guys are watching the Focus TV. When we get back, Octavia's going to talk about what happened in the NFL last week.
Do I have to?
I got you. We'll see you guys after the break. All right, welcome back to the Focus. My favorite part of the show this week, maybe my favorite NFL segment of the year.
So
we all on the waiting for the draft, man. You know?
I mean, that's cool, but I've been through that. I've been here with it. Welcome, Octavia.
To the last ever NFL segment, then we're gonna have second. So the very last NFL segment we are ever going to have on the Focus TV. It's like I'm joking, guys. So round one of the playoffs have been completed after wildcard weekend. So, once again, I'm going to go in order of the games. I can't focus because all I see is Wilson laughing.
As I said last week, I just request the same energy.
Hold on.
Request denied.
Can we get one of the quarterbacks? Y'all don't need both of them.
No.
Y'all not going to win. Y'all ain't going to win no time soon. Which y'all want first?
No.
Second?
No.
All 7?
Y'all can have Nate Sudfeld. Y'all want him? No.
Continue to petty. She playing together. Continue being petty.
Y'all want Nate?
She trying to disrespect.
Y'all can have Nate. That's cool. I want to keep the 2 we got. But before we got to that game, this week we had the Colts who played the Chiefs. And the Chiefs were victorious 31-13. Andrew Luck was 19 of 36, 203 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 carries for 17 yards. Marlon Mack had 9 carries for 46 yards. T.Y. Hilton had 4 receptions for 60 yards. And Alshon Inman had 4 receptions for 55 yards. For the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes had 27 of 41, 278 yards, 3 carries for 8 yards and 1 touchdown. Damian Williams, 25 carries, 129 yards, 1 touchdown. Tyreek Hill, 1 carry, 36 yards and 1 touchdown, and 8 receptions for 72 yards. And Travis Kelce, 7 receptions, 108 yards. To me, it was a theme of the weekend for most of the games that just one team was just dominating the other team for majority of the weekend games. The Chiefs just ran away with it from the very, very beginning. It was, people think 31-13 doesn't sound that bad, but it was worse than it looks. The Colts didn't have a first down in the whole first half of the game. For a full 28 minutes of the game, they did not get a first down. They are the only team to fail to get a first down. The only other team to fail to get a first down through the first half of a game this year was the Nathan Peterman-led Bills in the opening game this year against the Ravens. So it was pretty bad. Travis Kelce torched their defense for over 100 yards. Mahomes and the Chiefs, started with two very impressive drives to start the game. D4 was everywhere. On the other side of the ball, T.Y. Hilton was ghost. Marlon Mack didn't have nearly as a productive game as he had last week. So that was pretty much all they wrote for them. The Chiefs will move on to the AFC Championship.
You good over there, man? You all right?
I swear they went to bowl. They'll be sick.
There's a very large possibility of that. We shall see.
You'd probably be more sick if it was the Raiders.
I just don't like nobody in the division. The Chargers are irrelevant. They don't matter.
That's messed up.
So, what's to the second game? They were the Cowboys versus the Rams. The Rams were victorious 30-22. Dak Prescott was 20 of 32, 266 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 carries for 3 yards and 1 touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott, 20 carries, 47 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 19 yards. Gallup had 6 receptions, 119 yards, and Amari Cooper had 6 receptions for 55 yards and 1 touchdown. On the other side of the ball, Jared Goff was 15 of 28, 186 yards, 6 carries for 12 yards. C.J. Anderson, 23 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Todd Gurley, 16 carries, 115 yards, 1 touchdown. And Robert Woods, 6 receptions, 69 yards, 1 carry for 9 yards as well. A lot of people were talking about how the Rams ended the season. They were a little bit rusty, shaky, whatever you want to call it at this point. But I think that little break kind of woke them back up a little bit. Offensive line was out of sight. I don't even think Jared Goff got touched basically for the entire game, if not maybe 1 or 2 times. And on the other side of the ball, the defensive line was just going ham. Aaron Donald has been Aaron Donald all year, so that's no surprise there. But
Bad man.
yeah, it's a real bad man. He earned his money. I don't know if anybody else had anything to say about it. You shouldn't, because he is undeniably unreplaceable for them, and he's, if they're lucky, he's going to be there for a very long time. If they let him go, something crazy has had to have happened. But I think the surprise of the game was C.J. Anderson. Who saw that coming?
We talked last week about, right? We
did. And with Ezekiel Elliott getting 20 carries, and I said he needed at least 25, but that didn't happen. And then if you look on the other side of it, C.J. Anderson with 23 carries. Gurley had 16, but he didn't need to do all of that if C.J. Anderson was going off. That tells you right then and there was no there was no stopping their run. The Cowboys defense, as of late, had been great going into the playoffs. Not so great in this game, and this was a game where they needed to show up. Zeke, with only 47 rushing yards on 20 carries, that tells you a lot right there as well. On the upside, though, I do think that the Cowboys have found a little bit of a niche within their wide receiving core now. With Amari Cooper being the number one, and Gallup is coming around really well, and then have that little X factor with Cole Beasley in there. So I do believe that they're trending upward as far as the caliber of team they are. So it'll be very interesting to see them play next year. But this year it just didn't pan out for them as well, and the Rams are also moving on to the NFC Championship. Then on the Sunday games, we had the Chargers versus the Patriots. Patriots 41, Chargers 28, and it was not as close as it sounds. Phillip Rivers was 25 of 51, 331 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Melvin Gordon, 9 carries for 15 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 reception for 11 yards. Williams had 5 receptions, 94 yards. Keenan Allen, 2 receptions for 75 yards and 1 touchdown. And Antonio Gates, 5 receptions, 41 yards and 1 touchdown. And on the other side of the ball, you had Tom Brady, 34-44, 343 yards, 1 touchdown. Michelle, 24 carries, 129 yards, 3 touchdowns. Burkhead, 4 carries, 12 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 reception for 7 yards. Julian Edelman, 9 receptions, 151 yards, 1 carry for 7 yards. And Dorsett, 4 receptions, 41 yards, and 1 touchdown. 3 of these players scored their very first postseason touchdown in this game. Sonny Michel having 3 touchdowns. So Sonny Michel, Rex Burkhead, as well as Dorsett, all scoring their first postseason touchdowns. And it didn't even look like most of them broke a sweat during the game. To be completely honest, I tuned out probably right before halftime. It was on, but I wasn't watching it. It was literally just a runaway. And what's crazy is how much I won't say how much we've talked about the Chargers, but how much we've talked about them not being talked about. They had a really great year, but it didn't transpire into a win in this game. Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and it's kind of sickening that they're still as good as they are after everything that happens every year. Before the first quarter was even over, they were up 28-7. So a lot of the Chargers' points came in garbage time where it really didn't matter at that point. So at this point, the Patriots are heading to another, I believe they said this is their 10th straight AFC championship, 9 or 10. That's crazy, very crazy. Although there are some reports that are saying that Gronkowski may possibly rethink about retiring again after the offseason. We'll see how that goes, because I'm sure he talked about that last year as well. Well, I guess we'll see how he feels once the season's over for them. They will be meeting the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, and I believe this is the first time in a while that they've had an AFC Championship as a away game. They're going to go on the road to Kansas City as opposed to most of their opponents coming to them in the AFC Championship. So this should also be interesting as well. And last but not least, and that's it.
Jeffrey.
And we're done. Back to you, Wilson.
What? I was just calling for
Yeah.
It wasn't all as good as I'm trying to tell you.
He would have dropped that too.
Got caught up.
He would have dropped the whole plate.
Hey, man.
So the final game in the playoffs, first round, Eagles versus the Saints.
Final.
The Saints won 20, and the Eagles had 14. Nick Foles was 18 of 31, 201 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 2 carries for no yards. Wendell Smallwood, 10 carries, 33 yards, 1 reception for 6 yards. Alshon Jeffrey, 5 receptions for 63 yards. Zach Ertz, 5 receptions for 50 yards. And Jordan Matthews, 1 reception, 37 yards, and 1 touchdown. Couldn't get it done, but I mean, the game started good. I'm the one that's in can't get excited because I don't know how this is going to go. But the Saints came out testing the secondary of the Eagles, which Crayvon LeBlanc had an amazing interception on the very first play of the game, which did you would have thought set the tone for the game. The Eagles did go down, score a touchdown. Then the defense came in, held the Saints to a three and out, and then the Eagles went down, scored again, and that was it for the offense. Although some people made certain plays, but it wasn't enough. Drew Brees, they said he had one interception at the Superdome all year, and then his very first play of that game was an interception. You know, it looked like they were a little bit out of sync as this game started, but the Saints are who the Saints are, and, you know, Sean Payton is one of the, you know, best coaches out there, and you knew they were going to get something together, and you knew something was going to change. Lattimore is lights out as a defensive, as a secondary, and I mean, just all around, like, you could see that it all clicked on them when they had that fake punt. That was the spark that kind of put everything over. Taysom Hill everywhere, doing everything but being a quarterback. You know, y'all looking for the quarterback. Somebody come take him. You want Taysom Hill? You want...
Hey, look, they keeping Taysom. They keeping Taysom. Sean's keeping all his quarterbacks.
Listen, man.
What?
I'm tired of these hopefuls. These some concrete, something that
You wouldn't mind Teddy Bridgewater? No?
I know if he can stay healthy, man.
If he could stay healthy.
If he can stay healthy, yeah, because he be balling.
Yeah, he was. But I mean,
Philly got two, man. Give us
Michael
Wentz.
Thomas was out there just catching everything.
Two or something, you don't have any.
And
I bet we turn Wentz in. I bet Wentz get it done with us.
I'm going in and saying this as of now. We're not letting go of either. Nick is going to re-sign as our backup. He's living a great life. He don't got to play too much. He just got to come in. You know, he get bonuses when they get to a certain place. He is our security blanket, and so Carson gets 120% because I don't trust 100% anymore.
Damn, she said 100.
I mean, you know, of course there are reports out there that people are saying that, you know, the Eagles should keep Foles and get rid of Wentz. You know, Doug Peterson already came out and stated that's not the case. Wentz is the future. He will be the starting quarterback, and I still believe that's true as well. He's still very young, you know, so he still has a lot of upside to him. Not saying Nick Foles doesn't. I joke about us keeping both of them, but I am very worried that somebody will swoop in and take him away. I will not be surprised if it happens. I will be sad, but, you know, money talks. You know, I can't hate. I understand. You got to do what you got to do.
He's like, I'm out.
So I guess we will see. So the Saints will move on to the NFC Championship. So last 4 teams we have in are the Saints, who are going to play the Rams, and then you have the Chiefs against the Patriots. Any predictions for Super Bowls?
Until somebody kills New England, I'm not saying anything outside of New England. And as for the Saints, and who are they playing?
The Rams.
Whoever gets there to lose in New England first, I guess. I don't know. And if Pat Mahomes and them do it,
I like my homies, Hill, but I can't have another team in the AFC. I'm petty like that.
Oh wow,
So,
okay.
anybody but them, I'm cool.
So even the evil umpire, it's not bad. No, cool.
I like underdog teams, and I don't even know if they're considered an underdog at this point. Just with, you know, all the teams that are left, I just picked them as the underdog. I'm gonna say the Rams. I like the Rams.
If I
had to pick one, I like the Rams. I don't know if it's going to happen. I would like to see it happen. Sean McVay, you know.
I'm on this for personal reasons.
Well, I don't have any ties to any of these teams as of now. I would like to see, you know, Jared Goff, who was, you know, at first looked as a loss, you know, under Fisher when he first started, and to see how McVay has come in and changed, you know, shook up that entire just everything. I think it would be really great to see them, you know, win. But I really wish the Eagles would win, but, you know, we can't do that right now.
That's final. That loss last
we'll see y'all
week
next
final.
year, though. It's okay. We'll regroup.
Final.
We'll regroup. We got people already trying to test free agency back. You can go. Same play.
God,
Wow.
She ruthless.
You don't want to be here. We don't want you.
Nick Foles don't want to be there no more.
He does want to be here.
Hey, all right, so we're going to move on. Jamal Hayward over at 9450. This week on the 9450 breakdown, the move is spin away off a curl option. Again, spin away off a curl option. And we're going to follow that with a quick break. And when we get back from that, college basketball segment, high school, some Wizards, maybe a little rapid fire. We'll see you guys on the other side of this.
Today we're doing a breakdown of an option that you can utilize when curling to get your shot off. So if you have a defender trailing you on a curl and say they go under the screen or wherever you're curling to, and the ball's coming here, normally on this side you will go right, left, so you can show the ball with a pump fake and spin away. Now, being that the defender is going under, when you spin away, you have the option to dribble with your left hand or your right hand. Because the ball will be exposed with your back to the basket in your left hand, the best option is to dribble with your right hand. So, game speed. Stop. Today we're doing a breakdown of an option that you can utilize when curling to get your shot off. So if you have a defender trailing you on a curl and say they go under the screen or wherever you're curling to, and the ball's coming here, normally on this side you will go right, left, so you can show the ball with a pump fake and spin away. Now, being that the defender is going under, when you spin away, you have the option to dribble with your left hand or your right hand. Because the ball will be exposed with your back to the basket in your left hand, the best option is to dribble with your right hand. So, game speed. Stop.
Welcome back to The Focus. Again, shout out to Jamal Hayward. Truly appreciate each and every week that he provides that segment for us. I know Travis watches that segment religiously. Hopefully he's not the only one. All right, so Cardell, college basketball segment, GW.
Yeah,
Floor is
have
yours,
a couple
sir.
GW updates. I'm gonna start on the men's side. He hosted the Richmond Spiders, who's a lot like them, trying to gather them some momentum, try to get on the winning side of things. But it worked out for Richmond. They dubbed GW 76-56. It really wasn't close. Richmond just pretty much beat them up inside. The front line of Nathan Kao and Grant Golden, who have all A10 talent potential. They combined for 35 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists on 10 of 15 shooting from the floor.
Yeah.
It was really, just rather, GW is paced by, sophomore. I always speak about Terry Nolan, 15 points, and Maseo Jack with 14. Richmond shot 53% from the field and 40% from deep, and I rebounded GW 38-25. I mean, pretty much an all-around level of dominance. On the GW women's side, they hosted conference rival Dayton, and they managed to hold on for a 1-point lead, for a 1-point win, 46-45. GW women's improved to 5-11. They held Dayton leading scorer Jayla Scaff to 14. She came in averaging 15.3, but she was shot horrible. It was very inefficient. That was key. They also held their second leading scorer, Lauren Candanelli, who came in averaging 12, held her to 5. We always preach defense on all levels. We keep you in the game. That's what they starting to hang their hat on. But another thing is GW women's won by making more three-pointers. They shot 38% from three, and Dayton only shot 7%. So, it's hard to win that way. GW was led by Neela Luma, who scored a team-high 13 points, and China Latimer, who finished with a dozen, 6 of which came in the fourth quarter.
All right. So on to another women's team that did get the win this weekend. Maryland hosted Michigan, another Big Ten conference play. Shout out to Michigan. They literally followed the guide to what you're supposed to do as a road team in an opponent's building. They came out, they had Maryland on the heels, had them shook, and they did it by doing what Maryland does. They were pressing them, turning them over, and just getting easy points of transition. Maryland had 10 turnovers in the first quarter, and that played a big role in they shot like 60%, but if you can't get the ball up court to shoot, it doesn't matter. So Michigan, they handled their business. Haley Tone, she was amazing. She had 25 points, 10 rebounds inside. She started the game off doing what she wanted. But freshman Shakira Austin, I talk about her quite a bit. This is one of the games where you saw how special both her and Taylor Meisel are from Maryland. Meisel had 17 points, and 17 points isn't a large number. It was when she scored them. She hit 3 threes. I felt like 2 of the 3 of them were literally when you needed them. They got the building back in it. They put them back up by 1 at a time. And Shakira Austin put up 2K numbers, my player style. 13 points, 15 rebounds, 7 blocks, and a steal.
Sheesh.
No turnovers from your freshman center. Literally, you got a small glimpse of what she can possibly be in the coming years. Maryland has something special. Michigan's head coach alluded to that. And what I found intriguing in the post-game presser, she was literally talking about how she baits the teams into coming into the paint to take the shots away. She's a very agile big, so she'll let you come down the left side of the lane, and when it leaves your hand, she's there. And then you go another way. Yeah. And the other thing, she keeps almost all the blocks in bounds, so they save possession. And the other thing, just to give a shout out to that junior class that leads Maryland, credit to them for not being so focused on how they get a win. And, sometimes when you have a team where underclassmen show out at times, sometimes, the upperclass might want to, hey, I need to get going too. And they just provide steady plays throughout the game to complement the youngsters as needed. And, just compliment to them. But Maryland moves on to 15-1 overall and 4-1 in conference play. Now, on to the Week 6 high school rankings. There was a little bit of change. So you guys stay tuned for that when we get back, get into a little bit of Wizards and Go-Go. Welcome back. As promised, Wizards. We braved the snow. It wasn't that bad to get in there. At least to get in there. The way home was a little bit different. But to the folks that did brave the weather, they got the price of admission must have been worth it that day.
It was bad either way.
It was a heck of a game. Like, seriously though. Double overtime loss to Toronto. Obviously, you don't want to take that L and then get on a plane to London. But the Wizards went down by as many as 23 to start the game. They fought, like they showed a whole lot of fight in that second quarter to get back into it. It's one thing to get back into it, and sometimes, we talk about the hole being too big to climb out of. They were able to push it to overtime. And then another overtime. They fell 140 to 138, but you got to see two of the best players at their respective positions in the league. Their games were on full display. Kawhi Leonard went off, Brad Beal went off, and it was just great to see. As for Beal, that 43-point, 15 assists, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks, that's the line he had. Beal joined Oscar Robertson as the only players in NBA history with multiple games of 40, 15, and 10 in a season. But, Cardell, what did you take from that game?
They're just playing with more passion. They're leading with defense, and everybody's bringing it. It's not really 3 guys bringing in, the other 2 slacking, or 2 guys bringing the other 3 slacking, or 1. It's everybody's just trying to win, man. Everybody just competing and giving it all. And it's sad that an NBA team, we gotta pump that up and talk about that. That should just be automatic, but that's just the state of the times we in or whatnot, and it starts with Bill. I love how he's taking on the challenge of leading his team. He could have, easily just gave up and say, Wall's out, Dwight, who knows, Keith ain't here. I'm just gonna get numbers, try to make an all-star game, and, let's tank, see what we can get or whatever. But he just like, nah, he put the gauntlet down right when Wall went down, like, which I don't think we can win. He said, we'll see, So he's out there competing, playing the best basketball I've seen in his career. He's doing literally everything. He's bringing it defensively. I'm not buying the stuff where people say he always played defense. No, he was not. He may have tried, but he wasn't impactful. It's different now. He's actually getting stops, drawing charges, getting steals, deflections, rotating and blocks and stuff. It's a total. You could literally see the impact, and it's contagious. I like what Salo's bringing. Even if his shot is off, he's still hustling and everything. Like, he had a horrible shooting game, but Kyle Lowry didn't have a great shooting game, so they canceled each other out. That's why you play defense. If I ain't got it, you ain't gonna get it. So somebody else gonna have to get it. But they battle the best team in the league record-wise right now, Toronto, and it really should have got the win, but they didn't make free throws. And that's what doing. You can't miss little easy stuff like that because Toronto will capitalize. But Toronto is what their record says they are. They are a problem. And it's not just Kawhi Leonard. It's Pascal Siakam, who I feel is the most improved player in the league. Easily a 20 and 10 guy now. You got a guard, he can shoot the 3, mid-range, post up, dunk. 6'9", 6'10", freak of nature. That's basically what their team is built off of, about a bunch of 6'9", 6'10" dudes that are versatile. They can do a lot of things. Kawhi Leonard, no need to explain, he's a former Finals MVP for a reason. He did it all. He closed the game. He the one that really shut the thing down. And the thing is, their defense is ferocious, man. Like, I love how, like, Bill, he do the hard end. He'll snake the screen and patiently wait for something to open up. And a lot of teams just is the guy that's guarding you that get held up on the screen, and then whoever the guy is that's guarding the screener. It's just those 2 defenders trying to deal with the ball handler. Toronto don't allow you to do that. The dude on the wing right there, he'll dig down, and there's 3 on you and force you to make a quick decision and throw you off the game, so you don't have the time to do what you want to do. And I was like, dang. But then this is why Bill's at another level. He figured it out. And he hit some bombs to force double overtime, keep it going, or whatnot. And but Toronto, I could easily see them in the finals against the Warriors. And I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to just say the Warriors going to win. They're going to go the distance. And
if they win, they earn that one.
Because think about it, they only had the center Valanciunas when he come back. C.J. Miles didn't play. Van Vliet didn't play. When they had their full mob, they can rumble with the Warriors with Cousins. So I wouldn't sleep on that, and they going about their business quietly, man. It's just Danny Green, we ain't mentioned it yet, man. So
Delon Wright.
Delon Wright, man. So Powell, you gotta watch him. That's what I'm saying, man. They got the kid at the go-go who comes up sometimes, Boucher. He's another 6'10" dude, kind of in the shocker mode. They can do the same thing. So they're a problem, man. And people better take them serious because if they catch anybody slipping, it's a wrap. And I'm talking about the Warriors coming in like, we got this. Not with Danny Green and Kawhi and those guys, not with that championship experience. They're going to get up. That learning curve will be real quick. So they need to keep an eye on Toronto.
All right, so with the Go-Go, I know got a little bit on them.
They're on a 6-game winning streak. I know they have a game tonight. Credit to Jarrell, all them Pops and all those guys getting it done. Normally it's Troy Brown doing this thing, and obviously Devin Robinson. In the win over the Long Island Nets, it was Chris Chioza, the rookie out of Florida. He finished with a career night, 30 points, 24 which came in the second half, and they beat the Long Island Nets 114-106 at home here in DC. It was Chioza. It was the second consecutive 20-point performance. So he's starting to get momentum and showing guys, I need a shot at the league. And also another guy that's been killing, that's also been called up sometimes. He just haven't got a chance to get in the game. Yeah. Jordan McRae, he got G League Player of the Week, averaging 32.7 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists per game on 52% shooting from the field and 95% shooting from the free throw line. And during that span, the Go-Go went 3-0. So you got to give him props for that. He had a 43-point game on January 8th against Texas, and he became the only player in the league with 3 40-plus point games this season. And he followed that 43-point game performance with a 33.6 assist performance against Greensboro, and for his 8th 30-point game this season. So he's pretty much on his harder.
I like it's like just natural, just 30 pieces every night.
Yeah, so much props to them. They're winning, they're keeping it going, and that's what that's supposed to be, a winning culture. So you bring guys up, they fit right in. You see how Chase and Randall is, he's fitting right in the mode, not missing the beat. So I love what they're doing, how they really utilizing that Go-Go team as a farm system to move guys, to prepare guys for when they get caught up. They ready to fill in, do what they gotta do with the Wizards.
Definitely. So shout out to Jerome Christian and company.
And not on a down note, but they did finish their game already, and they did lose to Lakeland, the Magic. So they just snapped their 6-game winning streak. But it's inevitable. Can't win them all.
Nah, but 6-game win streak from the team that we saw very early this year. We're just trying to get their legs up underneath them. All right, so a couple questions of rapid fire.
Yes, you need.
Old time sake and whatnot.
The guy who occupies the White House.
That guy.
We gonna start there?
I just call him 45.
You don't even deserve nothing. During the White House ceremony, honoring the new national champion Clemson Tigers, he served them fast food, McDonald's, Wendy's, Pizza, and Burger King. He said he paid for the meal of American fast food, and the real reason for what his staff was saying is because of the furlough, the government shutdown. There weren't any staff there to cook, so he served them fast food. And you could be hearing the audio with some of the players like, I thought it was a joke. I know what my thoughts are, but what are your thoughts on the situation?
I don't know if my thoughts are
don't get it shut down.
It's just ridiculous at this point. Like, this is who occupies the Oval Office, and this is who makes the decisions for us as a nation, and it is ridiculous, and it is embarrassing that, like, you couldn't find nothing else.
Can get oohs and ahs or something.
I'm saying, like, you couldn't find nothing else. Him by himself, not even being the president, as I use air quotes, like, you have like billion dollar entities. Like, you mean one of your, I'm sure you got a restaurant somewhere. Nobody, really? You just like, all right, I'm just gonna go to McDonald's and get like 1,500, McDoubles, some nuggets. Go to Wendy's, get y'all some Frosties.
4 for 4 from Wendy's.
Like, come on, like, you couldn't even spring for Chipotle. Like, come on, second. But still, like, it's just embarrassing. And knowing me, I probably would have sat there and looked at him like, yeah, now I could eat this at home. Like,
I would have made the trip.
I mean, true.
I'd have been in Clemson.
Eat my own McDonald's by myself. They probably have better food on campus than they would have had there. That's what I'm saying.
They say,
allowed to have that's
the other thing is, like, they're athletes at that, and you want.
And he was proud of. He's like, look at what I've done.
Look at the spread.
Like,
welcome to the feast.
It was legit just perfect. It was a meme come to life, and it was just perfect. Did y'all see like some of the photoshops on Twitter today? And I'm not going into detail, but y'all need to check those out.
I will have to look.
Yeah, I got you. But all right, one more question, Cardo.
Jerry Jones said Jason Garrett would be in high demand if he was on the coaching market. Well, goddamn, y'all terrible.
Hey, hold on, so we gonna follow up.
Hey, that's funny.
Hey, I tell you, we following up like fake news with fake news.
Y'all terrible.
Jerry, what? I can't say that
You know what?
either.
There's nothing wrong with ending episode 100 with 2 jokes.
Come on, man.
That's crazy. Don't nobody want Jason.
What they say? Come on,
Phillies?
son.
The 49ers y'all want to take?
Excuse me?
Absolutely.
Hey.
Absolutely not.
You know what the sad part? He couldn't understand our offense because it's not a stop and a go.
All he's going to do is stand there on the sideline and clap anyway.
What is this play action stuff?
What's going on out there?
Why did he keep going?
Y'all disrespect.
Yeah, man, nah.
All right.
No, Jerry.
I'm leaving it alone. We got one more.
No, Jerry.
We gotta talk about this because people tripping.
Right.
James Harden has been on the tear, no doubt.
Yeah.
Is he the best scorer you've ever seen in the NBA?
Oh my goodness, it's 3 of these things. No.
Yeah, nah.
No? All right,
You
so,
know what I say.
All right, so look, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to the 100th episode.
That was a
man.
no, guys.
No, but seriously, thank you guys for tuning in, for your past support, your continued support.
Yes.
We truly appreciate it. So it's free plug time. Get over to finestmag.com. Get over to mymilestonesport.com. I saw something y'all didn't see. Cardell got something special cooking with this mid-season NBA thing and that cover, man. Yeah,
Yes, here we go.
I'm here for all of this.
Yeah, because
But
I'm in basketball mode now. I'm over football.
Oh, are you now? Oh, are you now?
I am. It's over. I ain't watching no more football.
Interesting how that works. Just remember this. Like I said, tune in last week's show. Same energy is all that required.
That's true.
Thank
See me
y'all
week 1.
for preseason.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame game. I want to thank y'all for tuning in.
Roll
We'll see
on.
you guys later. Next week, same time, same place.